And welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Watts UK99. Thank you as always for taking the time to watch these videos. So I want to take a minute here, now that the All-Star game is behind us and we can look forward to what's considered the second half of the baseball season. Want to spend a minute talking about the Mets, where they've been, where they're going. Also, we'll talk about the draft a little bit. But I think about where this franchise was on May 29th. The Jorge Lopez disaster had just happened, where he had hurled his glove into the stands, called himself either the worst teammate in baseball or he played on the worst team in baseball. It was all up to interpretation. But what was not up to interpretation is the Mets were 22-33 at the time, 6 games out of a wild card spot, but they had the third worst record in the National League, only to Colorado and Miami. All these teams to overcome. But since that time, they're 27-13. They have the third wild card spot to themselves right now, and they're only half a game behind St. Louis for the second wild card spot. They're also 4 games behind Atlanta for the top spot. And remember, if you get the top wild card, you host the first series of the playoffs, and the Mets will host Atlanta for 4 games from July 25th to July 28th. Definitely a series to watch. But I look at this roster and I look at what has changed, and I got to give the front office a whole lot of credit, in particular David Stearns. Now, we know how good many of the mainstays have been lately, particularly Brandon Nimmo and Francisco Lindor. You know, Pete Alonso hasn't had his best season despite being named to the All-Star team, which was a joke. But if you want to see my rant on that, that's on another video. You know, Jeff McNeil has been disappointing, but some of the signings that they've made have really worked out. Harrison Bader, that was a player I was ringing the bell for. I wanted him on the Mets, hitting .273 plus giving you his amazing defense. You know, kind of overachieving. I don't think most people expect Bader to hit over .270, but he has been a great presence for this team. But the thing with this clubhouse, it has seen so many players cycle in and out over the first near 100 games. They are not afraid to cycle players in and out. Over 50 players have worn a Mets uniform this season. And then you see the changes that have been made. The catcher position, how that changed so quickly. You had, at one point, Omar Narvaez and Thomas Nido, while Francisco Alvarez was healing from injury. And man, oh man, what a difference Alvarez makes, not just with his bat, but the pitchers love pitching to him. Just look at the ERAs of some of these pitchers. It's drastically better with Alvarez behind the dish. But then you add Luis Torrens from the Yankees for $100,000. You know, how long? It doesn't seem like, you know, Jose Iglesias has been here all that long. It feels like he's been a Met forever, but it wasn't that long ago. He was toiling away in Syracuse in AAA, and he takes the spot basically of Joey Wendell as the sort of utility infielder. My gosh, and Iglesias is hitting .380 with a .999 OPS. If he had enough at-bats, that would be top 5 in the National League. Plus the vibes that he's given, all of that, that's all well and good, but Iglesias has been playing great. Not good, great. Mark Vientos gets the full-time role at third base. It's paying off. He's hitting .291, 12 home runs, 33 RBIs, and .896 OPS. A player I have readily admitted has grown, and I did not know if he was going to. But he has become a much better hitter, more than just a slugger. And then at the bullpen, Daniel Nunez comes up, and as bad as the bullpen has been, as bad as it's been, imagine where it would be without Nunez. And so now looking forward, it's on to helping the bullpen. You know, Jake Diekman and Adam Ottavino have been utter failures, terrible signings. You know, Brooks Raley and Drew Smith are done for the year. Sean Reed-Foley is working his way back. Reed Garrett will be out for at least a month. You know, at least there's no structural damage, but he's going to be gone for a while. Edwin Diaz got suspended for 10 games. But they've started to make some changes. I still believe, despite giving up a home run to Colorado, Phil Maton will help. He has an excellent track record in the playoffs, and that means something. Plus, you have Nunez, as we just mentioned. Jose Butto, who's been a career-long starter, has been really good to, you know, eat up 2 or 3 innings at a time. So you have some pieces that you feel pretty good with. Now, the lower depth is a nightmare, as it is for a lot of teams. And I would try this. I would still try Tyler McGill in the bullpen. He's not working out as a starter. Plus, with Kodai Senga coming back soon, there's even less room for him in the starting rotation. I think McGill should get an opportunity to pitch in the bullpen. Let's just see if it works out. There's still other guys to bring up, like Bryce Montes de Oca. I've screamed that I wanted him back up before as he works his way back from Tommy John surgery. But I think his heat will work very well in this bullpen. But they really do need to get a lefty. You know, Jake Diekman and Danny Young are not going to get you across the finish line. The problem is it's very hard to say who will be on the market because very few teams are out of the playoff race. If you look at the wild card standings, if you look at the teams that are 8 games or more out of their respective wild card race, only 6 teams fall into that category. So basically, there's about 24, 25 teams who think that they are in the mix for the playoffs. That's why it's going to be a seller's market. And that's why when Washington traded Hunter Harvey over to Kansas City, they were able to get Kansas City's second-ranked prospect back. Crazy. So let's see how this market comes together until the trade deadline, which will be just under 2 weeks from now on July 30th. All right, and I want to spend in the second half of this video a few minutes on the draft. I'm not going to break down all 20 picks, but I wanted to break down a few of the highlights and some picks that I thought kind of stood out. Now, since the Mets have to pay the luxury tax, they got dropped 10 spots from 9 because they had the 9th worst record last year, all the way down to 19, and they draft Carsonbenge, the outfielder from Oklahoma State. And I saw rankings where he was ranked just outside the top 10. But he's a two-way player, pitcher, outfielder, just like his friend Nolan McLean, who also went to OK State and is in the Mets organization. Now, McLean has been moved to being a pitcher exclusively at AA Binghamton. Now, Benge, I'll talk about his pitching first. Last year, he made 18 appearances and 4 starts, went 3-2 with a 3.18 ERA with 44 strikeouts to 11 walks, held opponents to a 186 batting average in 37 innings. And he could get his fastball to about 94, 95 miles an hour, but he was drafted because of his bat. He's pretty much considered a 5-tool player. Left-handed hitter, good power, hits hard. Last year, check these numbers out. 335 batting average, a 1.109 on-base plus slugging. That's excellent. 24 doubles, 3 triples, 18 home runs, 64 RBIs for his college career at OK State. He had his slash line is a 339 batting average, 405 on base, 609 slugging with 25 home runs and 445 at-bats. He swings with this wide stance. When I watch him, he swings kind of wide, and with the swing motion, it tends to come down a little bit, like some hit with an uppercut. This is more of a lower cut. So he is a little bit prone to ground balls. But the comparison I've seen between his swing style and his tools, there's a little bit of Christian Yelich in this guy. So that is very intriguing. Now, in the second round, the Mets draft Jonathan Santucci, left-handed pitcher from Duke in the second round. So he became a first-team member of the All-ACC team, had a 3.41 ERA and a 1.31 whip, held opponents to a 181 batting average in 13 outings. And in 58 innings, he struck out 98 batters. That's a pretty impressive strikeout rate. So he's got a fastball that has gotten up to 96, a nasty slider that gets a 50% whiff rate, and his changeup needs a little bit of fine-tuning. And he's dealt with a few injuries over the last couple of years. But when healthy, he has been one of the best pitchers on one of the best pitching staffs in the country. And if you look at the Mets minor league system, they don't have a lot of left-handed pitchers. You've got Christian Scott, Mike Vassell, Brandon Sproat, Blade Tidwell, Jonah Tong, Nolan McLean. These are all right-handed pitchers, so Santucci may very well fill a void. And then you go to day 2 to round 3. Mets take right-handed pitcher Nate Dome from Mississippi State, 82nd overall. Now, he didn't pitch much in 2024, had some injuries, but when he did pitch in 8 appearances, 37 strikeouts to just 4 walks and a 1.29 ERA. His fastball can hit 97. His slider and curveball, very effective as well. So the durability is really the only reason why he was taken in the 3rd round. And with the next pick, I was very excited to see the Mets take Eli Serrano, mostly because he went to NC State and is from very near where I now live in the Raleigh, North Carolina area. But he's a former teammate of Mets prospect Brian Clifford. They were high school teammates in Apex, North Carolina. He's played first base all over the outfield. Now, he doesn't have a whole lot of power yet, but he has the frame to add it at 6'5", 200 pounds. So this is a tall, lanky kid with a very smooth left-handed swing, good bat-to-ball ability, And in 2 years with the Wolfpack, hit 289 with 14 home runs. So he's probably going to take a little bit of time to develop. And a couple of lower round picks I want to highlight as well. Nick Rosselli was drafted, and he is from Levittown, Long Island, played at Binghamton University. He was taken early on day 3. Very productive bat with Binghamton. Over 3 years, he hit 349, 442, and 608 with the on-base and slugging. 26 home runs in those 3 years. He is kind of the risk-reward pick. Very, very good bat, but you wonder about the level of competition. And the final pick, I'm actually going to go all the way down to what would normally be Mr. Irrelevant, but no, this is not an irrelevant prospect. So in the 20th round, they draft Adam Haight. Now, he is a primary shortstop from Cedar Park Christian High School in Washington State. He was ranked 187 on the MLB Pipeline prospect list. Some scouts even had him ranked in their top 100. The Mets took him with pick number 593. So this was really about potential, but the issue with Haight is he has a commitment to play college ball at Oregon State, so the Mets may have to pay a good amount of money to sign him and get him away from college. So it's a lottery ticket. There's no guarantee that the Mets are actually going to be able to bring Haight into the organization, but at the 20th round, you take the chance on upside and see if you can make it work out. So there's a lot of reasons to be very excited about where the team is and with some of these prospects that they acquired in the draft this week as well. Well, those are just a few thoughts on the Mets as we head into the second half, where they will play Miami, the Yankees, and Atlanta to start off. If you haven't liked and subscribed, what are you waiting for? Please do so. I'd appreciate it. Help your friend out. And be sure to join us Wednesday night, 6 p.m., for the live show for Wednesday Night Live. 50 episodes down and a whole lot more to come. All right, thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you right back here with more content from you know where. The Wicker Chair.